Do you like my hair? I don't normally do video versions of this show, and I haven't done anything with my hair. Ha! Real. Let's deal with that. Right. G'day everyone, welcome to That Other Show. I've got a script here that I would normally read, and it's gonna mean I have to look at the screen, but whatever. Summer is gone, and the cool nights and warm days are here of autumn. How good is that? So for my Aussie friends, rug up. Get that heart warmed with your spirit of choice. For me, that would be caffeine or some sort of coffee. However, I don't have one right now. And I'm getting growled at by my dog. But anyway, let's cue the music. This is episode 13 of That Other Show, and today is Thursday, the 16th of May 2019. I am your host, Lucas, and here with me is a pair of feet that could use some socks. Because it's cold. Now, during this episode of That Other Show, I'm going to be talking about loving something so much that you have to hate other things. Also, a new Splinter Cell game coming. Overclocking a CPU as a novice. That's something I did this week. I'm going to talk about that. Then I'm going to finish up the show with a That Other description. Alright, so let's get the show going. Alright, so the first port of call is loving something so much that you have to hate something else, or an opposition, or something opposed to what it is that you love. And I talk about this in relation to video games because it's something that I find that there are a lot of people on the internet that sort of subscribe to this kind of attitude. Something that needs to be taken into consideration with this is that probably a lot of these people are quite young. I would imagine they are children, but some of them I do know are actually adults, and I don't really understand this kind of mentality. It's very childish. But there are fanboys out there that love their Xbox or love their PlayStation, and just because they see somebody else gloating about loving their console, they feel that they have to go in there and say, nah, that is crap, PlayStation is heaps better, or no, that is rubbish, the PS4 is crap, the Xbox One is so much better, all of your games are one and done, single player rubbish, and transversely, the PlayStation lovers are saying things like, the Xbox has got no games, and all of that sort of stuff. Why? Why does this kind of mentality, this attitude exist, where loving something means hating the other? It stems back a long time, and it's not just restricted to video games. If we take the old Australian rivalry of Holden versus Ford, if you're a Holden fan, then you paid out big time on Ford fans and vice versa. Now, I do understand there's a little bit of merit to just to and froing, just a bit of banter, and that can be fun, but a lot of the time this stuff turns into malicious intent, where people really just want to upset people that don't love what they love, and it gets really in there, and a lot of these people take it and it gets under their skin. But I don't understand it. I don't understand loving something so much that you must hate the things that are opposed, or the things that are not that thing that you love so much. I find it childish, I find it barbaric, and I don't think it's very intelligent. And, well, in a world where stupidity is running rampant, intelligence is very important. But in saying that, I don't condemn that kind of behaviour completely, because like I said, there is some merit to the banter, and I would like to know, is this you? Are you one of those people that you love your PlayStation or your Xbox so much that you actively seek out people on Twitter or social networks and put your 2 cents worth in and basically just go in there saying, no, what you like is crap, what I like is better? I mean, that's a bit of a God complex there, thinking that what you like is what everybody else should like. I think there's a lot of personal preference that has to come into play there. And for me, My personal preferences, they chop and change all the time. For the majority of the current console generation, I played my PS4, and that was my preferred console. But I also owned an Xbox One, and I also own a very powerful PC, and I also own a Nintendo Switch, and earlier on a Nintendo Wii U. I play them all. I have my preferences. Like I said early on, it was the PS4. Currently, well, sorry, then after that, then it was the Xbox One. I got the Xbox One X and preferred that for my games. Further to that, the Xbox One X performance isn't really up to my standards. I've been playing most of my stuff now on PC because I've got a really beastly PC. But I don't dislike or hate any of the other ones. I want them all, and I can't get rid of any of them. I keep them all. I have them all. But yeah, just that kind of attitude, I don't get it. I would like you to put some comments in the comment section down below about how you feel about this situation. Are you part of the problem? No judgment. Your views, likes, and subscriptions are still appreciated. But I want to know, are you part of that issue? Do you completely oppose it like I do? Do you enjoy the banter, or do you just not subscribe to it at all? You just play your own thing, do your own thing? Anyway, comments down below just for something to have a conversation about. Go ahead and join our Discord channel as well. There's a link to our Discord in the description, and we can go and have chats in there. And there's actually a lot of really good conversation that goes on in our Discord channel. All right, let's move on from that. Let's talk about something that is cool. A little bit of trolling comes into this, but the banter side comes into this, and I'll get into that in a minute. But the new Splinter Cell game that I've been asking for year after year after year for E3, for Ubisoft to come out and give us a new a new Splinter Cell game, even an announcement that's 12 months away from release, 24 months away from release. I don't care. I just want a new Splinter Cell game, and I'm not alone. There's a lot of people on the internet that are crying out for this. Now, I posted a tweet the other day just saying, Ubisoft, if you don't announce a new Splinter Cell game at E3 this year, I'm going to break something. It was a tongue-in-cheek thing. I obviously wouldn't do that. But then I had Brian from Since Spakesies come along and write, not going to happen. Then another tweet came out really shortly after mine saying working on a new Splinter Cell game. That has since been sort of announced as a joke, and then there was a couple of follow-up tweets from people that were tagged in that tweet saying, how do I delete a tweet, asking for a friend, and another one from that same person saying, please don't share or please don't retweet. I think I'm in trouble. So I don't know if it actually was a joke and they got into a little bit of trouble for joking about such topics, or if it wasn't a joke and they're trying to backpedal because it's not supposed to be leaked or announced just yet. So I'm not sure, and there's the optimistic side of me who's like, okay, this must be real, and Ubisoft don't want it announced because it's going to be such a big announcement that they're saving it for their big E3 show. But then there's obviously the pessimistic side that says, no, it probably was a joke. They got reprimanded for getting people's hopes up, and Ubisoft will probably cop some flack over it. But I don't know. I just don't know if it's real. But we're only, a couple of weeks away from E3 now, so we'll find out soon. And if we don't hear anything about Splinter Cell, then clearly, well, no, nothing is clear. I don't know. All right, let's move on. All right, now overclocking a CPU or overclocking anything on a PC is something that I've known about for a very long time, but I've never looked into it because I know that overclocking can cause damage to your components. So overclocking a CPU can overheat it and damage it. Overclocking a CPU without the right voltage can cause actual fire, which will then destroy your entire PC and possibly your home with it. So I've never really bothered with it. I've always bought high spec stuff and just left it in my PC, just running stock. Now, when I bought my current PC, I bought the i7 8700K CPU. And for those that don't know, the K at the end stands for basically that it's overclockable. Okay, so I did buy that one with the foresight that I may look into it, but I did buy this PC probably a good 18 months ago, I think, if I'm not misjudging that. But I thought I might overclock, but might not. But anyway, I thought I'd give it a go because I've been playing stuff like PC Building Simulator where you can overclock. I've been watching a lot of Jay's 2 Cents, which is a YouTube channel, and he talks a lot about overclocking on there. And he refers to it as free performance. It's for free upgrade, which is essentially what it is. Now, my CPU is a 3.7 gigahertz CPU, which is overclockable. And there's a simple Intel program which it's just a slider. You get there's basic settings and then there's really in-depth stuff. I just stuck to the basic stuff and I moved the slider up a little bit. I bumped it from 3.7 gigahertz to 4.3 gigahertz, and it worked great. And the system still seems stable. I haven't upped the voltage, so hopefully that's not going to be an issue. It has removed a few of my bottlenecking issues. If you don't know what bottlenecking is, just really quickly, it's when one thing is more powerful than another thing that is needed to play a game. So if your CPU is a bit lacking and your GPU is a beast, the CPU won't be giving the frames across to the GPU in time, and you're going to get frame lags, and it can happen vice versa. I did get a little bit of bottlenecking when playing Trials Rising in 4K. That's gone now. It just runs at a smooth 60 frames a second, no dramas. So the little bit of a free upgrade in overclocking has really made a difference. And I wish that I'd tried it earlier. I didn't realize how easy it was. But you still need to be careful, because I then got a little bit greedy and bumped it up to 5 gigahertz and my system crashed. It crashed the system, but it has fail safes in the program, and when it crashed it rebooted and went back to stock standard settings and everything was fine. So I bumped it back up to the 4.3 instead of 3.7, and everything's been running great. It's been running great for probably 3 days now, and it's really cool. So if you've got an overclockable CPU, be very careful. You need to know what you're doing. I don't really know what I'm doing, but I did watch a couple of videos. Like I said, Jay's 2 Cents was very handy, and I've only taken baby steps. I've overclocked a slight amount. I do believe with the right setup, my CPU, the i7 8700K, is overclockable to 5 gigahertz. However, you probably are going to have to change voltages and probably increase cooling in the system. I'm just air cooled at the moment. I don't know if you would definitely need to go to water cooling, but it's something that you'd need to make sure you look at. But anyway, everything's running cool. I really like it. It really is a good little boost. And if it's something you've been thinking about, maybe get some information from the internet. Jump into maybe the Aussie Gamers Experience Discord channel. There's a PC discussion tab. There's also a I Need Tech Help tab that you can write some stuff in there. And we've got a couple of PC enthusiasts in there as well as myself. And we can give suggestions backwards and forwards. So there you go. That's all my PC stuff for now. Let's move on to the next bit. All right, next up, we're nearly at the end of this episode of That Other Show. For this one, I'm going to have to do this and read off my script because we're doing That Other Description. All right, so this week on that... Oh, geez, my hair is really all over the place now that I'm looking at my screen. It's that just gotten out of bed look that everybody is after. So that other description, here's a game, for those that don't know, here is a game where I'm going to read out a description of the game that leaves out critical details, so it doesn't give it away. And you, as the viewer, have to work out what that game is. And if you know it, post it on our Discord. Well, you can put it in the comments down below, but it may ruin it for other people. There is a link to our Discord in the show notes, just so you're aware. All right, so let's go. This is the description of the game. The world is in chaos. The air is thick with tension and the smoke of burnt villages. The fearsome empire has struck again, ravaging the helpless kingdoms. The once mighty who tried to use you for their own gain are now gone. In these uncertain times, no one can say what fortune holds in store. Who will bring peace to the world and who will cause it only misery? But a force darker and deadlier emerges. Not a lot of information there, so I've got a little bit of extra that might start to help working this one out. This one's hard. The grand finale to your story. A standalone adventure, easily accessible to new players. Meaningful choices with consequences that change the story and the game world. Quests and main story threads that can be resolved in any order or completed in parallel. Unforgettable quests deeply linked with the core storyline and designed with care to draw players in. A breathtaking cinematic introduction illustrating the game background, unique atmosphere, memorable characters, and gritty dialogue. That's it. That's all I've got for that other description. If you think you can work out what the game is, don't forget, put it in our Discord or even in a comment down below. If you are correct, I will reply and tell you you are correct. Okay, well, let's move on to closing the show. Well, that's it for this episode of That Other Show, and if there isn't enough content in this show, then you absolutely need to go and check out the full podcast from the Aussie Gamers Experience team called the Aussie Gamers Experience Podcast. Now, this show is hosted by Snoogs and Greggio, and I occasionally make appearances on the show as well. Go ahead and check out the video description for a link to the podcast. You can also just search for Aussie Gamers Experience on iTunes, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and pretty much any sort of podcast catcher that is out there. Most of them have our podcast on it. Except for like Google Play, because Google Play isn't accessible in Australia. I suppose I could get a VPN, but I already pay for way too much, so I won't be doing that. Sorry, Android people. Not sorry. But anyway, that's all. So I will catch you all next time, whenever that is, because as you all know that watch this show regularly, it's a sporadic thing. It gets made when I've got time and have something to talk about. So thank you very much. As always, my name is Lucas from the Aussie Gamers Experience, and until next time, I will see ya!